And welcome to the HMG Weekly Wrap Up for October 3rd. No, I'm not Adam after extensive plastic surgery debacle and gone wrong. I'm your Timu Adam Bird this morning. Adam is traveling, so he's asked us to sit in. My name is Gene Campbell. I'm with the Double S podcast that broadcasts on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Part of the Heroes Media Group Network, and I have agreed to sit in for Adam this week and do my best to go down through all the cool stuff that took place this week and wrap things up. So welcome to the Heroes Media Group Weekly Wrap Up here on this Friday, October 3rd. Hopefully, everybody out there in Heroes Media Land is doing well. You've had a chance to get outside here, enjoy the amazing fall weather that's hitting across the country out there, man. The trees are turning, nights are getting cool. One of my favorite times of the year. Usually a little less soggy than springtime. And if you watch us on the Double S, you know I love getting outdoors. That is the whole piece of what we try to promote for mental health, well-being, just getting outdoors, man, engaging. Of course, fishing, dude. Got to go fishing. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get a couple things rolling here. We're going to stall here for a little bit, let a few people connect up here to the live broadcast here. We hope that Adam, wherever you're at, buddy, hope you are traveling well, safe, and you have high success in the areas where he's going to be right now. Is the little to no communication out there, so he wasn't able to broadcast from a remote location for the wrap up. So that's why we're jumping in here to help bring this week to a close here and usher in the new week as the weekend looms here right now. Real quick, wanted to take a chance here. The Double S podcast that I host on Sunday nights, our whole piece there is just tackling some topics, man. We range anything that we can do to support in the veteran spaces, from veteran-owned organizations. Obviously, a lot of it floating around and concerning around the outdoors, the fishing side. With our nonprofit that we have, the True Patriot Outfitters, that's what we do is use outdoor engagement and outdoor activities to promote general mental health, well-being, and improved quality of life for active, veteran, first responders, and above all, families. The families first philosophy. That's what we approach from. And so, yeah, if you get a chance to check us out on Sunday nights there, you'll see what we're all about, and give us a follow on Facebook as well. All right. Let's see here. What do we got? We're about 3 minutes in here. We're letting a few people connect up that I know wanted to tune in here real quick. If you join us out here also on the weekly wrap up, please comment in where you're commenting from there. I know a lot of you out there, but if you're new to the show, please give us a comment here. Let us know where you're from, where you're watching from, I should say, and we'll get this thing rolling here. Let's see. This bad boy up. Hey Kenneth, how are you, sir? Appreciate you tuning in here. Like the title says, I'm your Timu version of Adam Bird this week, buddy. That's what you guys get. He's out of touch, out of pocket, so I'm gonna sub in here. All right, so let's go ahead. What should we? Yeah, let's just go ahead and I'm gonna throw out a couple important dates that Adam wanted me to make sure to relay on here as well. Let's see, some important dates coming up. We have in January of 2026, so January 15th to the 18th, PodFest 2026, world's largest podcasting event. This is going to be down in Orlando, Florida. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in here real quick. We'll put some of that information in the comments here. Embarrassingly enough, I don't know much about PodFest, but my guess is if Adam has it on the schedule there's a darn good reason why. And so we're going to go ahead and put this up here, 15th to the 18th, 2026, Orlando, and we'll put a little contact. There we go. So that's coming up here, world's largest podcasting event. Chance, probably an outstanding opportunity at that point to network to connect up with others, learn from. Obviously, more than likely you're going to see all kinds of resources there for building your brand as a podcast host or producer themselves. Here's another one coming up here. This is April 16th. This one I do know about. This is going to be a good one. We'll post this up here. The new, for 2026, you're going to have Military Creator Con. That's coming up in April 16th to the 18th. The website is now live. We'll post that in the comments here that you can take a peek at. That we have coming up here. That's a big one. If you're anywhere in spaces, I can tell you as a founder of a nonprofit myself, this is highly on our list. Also as a host of a podcast, this is a really, really fantastic opportunity to connect and see some of the biggest movers and shakers out there in the content creation platforms that are moving around. They're a great resource to pick up on. So just get that on your calendar. If you can make it, definitely get over there. April 16th and 18th, it's on the website live. I don't know where it's at this year. Have not had an opportunity. This has been a week for us that was kind of the final week in our field ops events and scheduling that we've done throughout for this full season. So ashamedly, I've not had a chance to check out some of these things that Adam handed on to me here early, but it's because this has been just a crazy week. On top of that, we're prepping to head off later in a few hours here. I'll be heading down to Pueblo Reservoir here in Colorado to fish a state championship tournament. I don't do many tournaments these days, but that is one that we're going to go after. I'm going to head down there. We're going to see the whole team down there and all that good stuff. So, hey, also a reminder that Adam does here at the HMG is the hero stories, right? Send us your stories about community heroes. Anybody in your community that you know is making a difference, making an impact out there, send that over. Let's end this here real quick. Send that over to media@heroesmediagroup.grp.com. Send that in to Adam. Nominate somebody that you know that's making a difference out there in your community that you think deserves to be recognized, so Adam can feature them and tell their story and kind of go over and just talk about these people making a big difference in your local community. It's a great way to help foster that and promote those type of deals and keep them moving forward. All right, so we got some of that stuff taken care of here. Let's go ahead and bust in to some of the news. Of course, nothing dominating the news bigger than right now the government shutdown. And man, this one's a tough one, dude. I got to be honest with you, because you got both sides making claims. You got both sides squawking it's the other person's fault. Yet there's I don't want to say evidence, but there's enough topical data that supports both of their arguments, right? It says, no, that's not true. Yes, that is true. It's just this back and forth thing going on. Is anybody else just starting to grow some fatigue over the third grade level bickering that's taking place? Like, I'm really feeling like if you just substituted some words like they took my Tonka truck, that it would match with a lot of this stuff that's going on out there these days, man. I'm surprised any of these people can remain married, to be honest with you. Because compromise just doesn't seem to be in their vocabulary. And it's staggering to me how these people that somehow got elected, they're the cream of the crop that's out there apparently. They got elected, they get up to Washington, and then all common sense and all ability to work together just goes out the window. And it's from old to new, right? It doesn't seem to be like an age or generational thing. I mean, not for nothing, there's a couple of them out there that I'm pretty sure would follow a laser pointer if you threw it on the ground. But I gotta tell you, man, it just doesn't seem that compromise or the ability to work together, really jumps in. There's a couple notable things that popped up. I'm gonna go ahead and read a couple articles here real quick. This is from a couple days ago. The U.S. federal government began a partial shutdown at midnight on October 1st, following Congress's failure to approve a stopgap funding measure amid disputes over the Affordable Care Act, tax credits, and spending priorities. Okay, I think that's important to remember. This is over, the Affordable Care Act deal. And in this bill, there was, tax credits and spending priorities. House Republicans passed a clean continuing resolution on September 30th, but the Senate Democrats blocked it to avert premium increases for 20 million ACA marketplace users. Okay, because apparently in this bill there was going to be a rate increase, and the Democrats did not want to see that. While the Republicans claimed that the Democrats sought benefits for undocumented immigrants, which is a claim that is contradicted by federal law. Like, federal law prevents it. But hold that thought, because there's another article of something that came out that I'm sure won't surprise many of us. But at any rate, the shutdown furloughs hundreds of thousands of federal workers, closes non-essential services including national parks, and poses economic risks, with both parties exchanging blame as some lawmakers cross party lines. So we go back to, and you remember where it said that federal law contradicts the claim that the Democrats were wanting to provide health care for illegal immigrants. However, there was another article that was just released on October 2nd, so yesterday. The title is "Census Data Confirms Illegal Aliens Do Access Welfare Despite Democratic Denials." And I think what it's important that I'm not going to go through the mess of the article here that talks about, he said, she said. So as the government shutdown continues, Democrats' established media outlets are insisting that illegal aliens cannot receive taxpayer-funded welfare benefits, which they shouldn't be able to. But yet, U.S. Census Bureau data analyzed by the Center of Immigration Studies, the CIS, shows otherwise, revealing that illegal immigrants do sometimes directly secure welfare and far more often indirectly access benefits through household members. CIS researchers received the Census Bureau's survey of income and program participation and found that illegal immigrant households do receive welfare at significant rates. These are the numbers that, and I'm just kind of curious about your thoughts on this. It was rather interesting here. 59% of households headed by an illegal immigrant receive some form of welfare. 59% in this study. 20% of illegal alien household personally receive benefits such as cash assistance, food stamps, Medicaid, or housing vouchers. 20%, 1/5. That's the head, which is an actual illegal immigrant there, illegal alien. In many cases, welfare accesses come through U.S.-born children or other legal residents that are in the household, boosting participation rates far higher. For example, only 1% of illegal immigrants' heads reported receiving Medicaid, but with citizen children included, the total household Medicaid participation rate was at 39%. It's a mess, dude, right? I mean, it's a mess. Again, am I the only one getting a little fatigued with this stuff? Every time I turn around there, I mean, it just can't even seem to be an agreement on whether it's day or night these days. It just seems, that it's this, it's that, it's the other person, it's the other person. It just goes back and forth. I gotta tell you, man, as a guy who rides, the middle of the lane here, I lane split these two. I don't hold patronage to either side, really. Admittedly, I definitely probably lean far, more to the conservative side of most topics, but it just feels like this stuff is like it's a scripted deal, that it's somebody trying to, just keep this division going, and it feels very, very, very much like both sides are at the heart of it, man. I don't know. I don't see a lot of good faith effort to keep it right down the middle, or to allow that common sense piece to kind of step in there. But anyway, we'll move on. Let's see what next in the deal. Here's one that was rather interesting. Paxton doubles down on 10 Commandments law. Curious about what you guys think about this. So Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton doubled down on the implementation of a state's 10 Commandments law, issuing a formal legal advisory on the subject. I'm going to paraphrase. Basically what this is this is a law that requires schools to post the 10 Commandments in their classroom. So the legal advisory urges school districts to comply with Senate Bill 10, noting that 11 districts have chosen to challenge the law. A federal judge in San Antonio has temporarily halted SB 10's enforceability only in the 11 districts that are parties to the litigation. All other school districts in Texas are currently required to display the 10 Commandments in classrooms in accordance with the state law. Now, districts are not required to purchase the displays, but they must accept and display any privately donated poster or framed copy that meets the requirements described by law. I don't know, man. So this is another tough one. Me personally, I think those 10 Commandments are really the foundation by which a lot of great civilizations, primarily ours, were based on. But the other side of me says, yeah, but we want to make sure that we maintain that, that First Amendment section there of maintaining a separation between church and state, right? And schools are state taxpayer funded deals. Just like we don't want taxpayer funds going to certain medical procedures out there, we equally don't, want these areas. Yeah, I don't know where I'm at with that whole thing there. That's a tough one, and I don't think with this little bit of coffee that I've had this morning that I have a real. What are your guys' thoughts on that, man? Throw a comment up there. Let me know what your thoughts on. I mean, it's thinking about this not from a personal standpoint, but from a school, right? I mean, this is any legal citizens of the United States are free to practice their own religion as they see fit. And so is a school classroom where we want to put that? Because what I worry about too is if you allow one, well, who's to say that they can't put something else up there? I don't know. I admittedly will tell you I don't know what the other religions, what their version of the 10 Commandments is, but it seems to me that if you open that door, like Pandora's box like that, it seems that you're allowing an argument or a precedent to be set to allow others to put in there that maybe don't share the same. And now you've got judges making decisions on religious belief and such, that if that gets challenged. So tricky one, dude. I don't know, slippery slope, to look at there. So just those things, that especially if you don't have enough coffee, just to get your brain cranking first thing in the morning there. Let's see here. What else do we have? There's a few here. Elon Musk becomes first person worth $500 billion. He's reportedly, let's see, this is according, he just passed Larry Ellison. Forbes reports that Tesla shares rose nearly 4% on Wednesday, adding an estimated $9.3 billion to Musk's wealth. Wow. Tesla proposed a $1 trillion package for Musk, to which Musk said, "It's not about compensation, but about me having enough influence over Tesla to ensure safety if we build millions of robots. If I can just get kicked out in the future by activist shareholder advisory firms who don't even own Tesla shares themselves, I'm not comfortable with that future." The guy doesn't mince words half the time, like him or not. I don't know. He's, their future, it's the whole robot thing. Great. Remember all those sci-fi shows that we used to watch that we thought were, just make-believe? Dude, we're kind of living in that era now where we're right on the edge of it. The AI thing is going off. I'm worried to ask AI to actually type in what is the likelihood that AI takes over critical infrastructure, in the U.S. and can take over power grids and such. I'm curious what AI thinks about that on its own. And for those of you who are from a different generation, that's Skynet that I'm talking about right there. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Let's see, what else do we have? According to this article, let's pull up the full article to see kind of, this is rather interesting. The current administration is using AI for cancer research. Department of Health and Human Services announced this week that it's doubling its funding for its Childhood Cancer Data Initiative at the National Cancer Institute to promote the development of improved diagnostics, treatments, and prevention strategies. So to diagnose it, to treat it, and to prevent it. Officials will utilize artificial intelligence to harness the potential electronic health records and claims data to inform research and clinical trial design, while allowing parents to maintain control over their child's health information. Rather interesting. So there's a positive use, right, for the AI side. Rather interesting. Goes a little bit further onto that, but yeah. So interesting piece that they're using. Also, here's a big one, and it's staggering to me that we're waiting this long to really have these conversations. But Walmart is removing dyes from its in-house food products. So like the Great Value brand from Walmart, they are going to start the process. I'm not sure what their target date is. Transition will occur over the coming months and will be fulfilled by January 2027 at the latest. So they're basically, they're actually going to start removing synthetic dyes and going to more natural stuff. We've known, right? I mean, I think I remember as a kid hearing stuff in the 1980s about red dye number 5, and all these type of things. Nobody did anything, and we as a populace didn't demand anything to be done. We just kept stuffing ourselves with garbage and putting poisons in our system because of convenience, right? I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Faster, easier, whatever the case may be. So interesting that Walmart's going to take the lead on that. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Walmart, really, from their business model. No, nothing else. Just their business model includes wiping out mom and pops in little towns across America. And they absolutely do not care that they do that. Point in fact, it's one of their, long ago, it was kind of one of their MOs to do so. Make sure we can shut them down and remove, all competition. And so for that, I've stayed away from it. There's a lot of other reasons to stay away, a lot of other reasons. Some people like them, don't like them. But this is impressive. If they see, if it happens, I have no problem giving credit where credit's due. Removing dyes from their products, hopefully by 2027. All right, last but not least here, and I apologize on this one. I just got news of this. And let me see. What was that? There's an article here that popped out. See if I can find it. Here he is. Okay, so it's Ralph Norman is who this is. Congressman Ralph Norman has reintroduced a constitutional amendment, all right, big deal there, that would bar members of Congress from receiving any compensation during a government shutdown. Wow. So if you've ever wondered why neither side, what we were asking at the top of this show when we started, which was, Why can't they get along? Why are we hearing another shutdown? You know, these deals here. Hey, good morning, David. How are you, sir? Appreciate you joining us. Um, you know, when we were asking that question about that, well, there's not a whole lot of incentive, if you ask me. Dude, Congress, no matter what they do, they continue to pull paychecks, right? It's like the whole taxing thing that goes on, in the fact that well, they don't really care about raising taxes because they're not paying taxes, right? There's really very little incentive there. So this was on September 30th. Ralph Norman, he reintroduced this bill here. And I'm just flabbergasted. That's right. That's a word that many generations haven't embraced. I'm blown away by the fact that this is still even a topic of discussion. You know, yeah, I 100% support that. You want to talk about motivated? Let's get a few Congress folks worrying whether or not their mortgage is going to get paid, or whether or not they're going to be able to keep the lights on. Obviously, they're in a lot different situation than the average Joe is, but put some strain on their wallet, man. You want to talk about motivation to really start to work together? That's probably a great way to do it. And I guess it doesn't completely amaze me, but there's such things. I mean, like I said, the whole taxes thing, they're immune from them. They don't pay taxes, so of course they'll vote to raise them because it's no big deal to them. Term limits. How long has that conversation been going on about establishing more strict term limits so we can get these people out of office that are sitting there, decomposing in a public office? We see it all the time. We've got individuals up there that have been serving for 20, 30, 40 years. That's just no good, man. No. You want that, that rotation of new blood coming in there to keep things moving. So term limits, that's still a gerrymandering. I mean, that conversation was for how long? It still hasn't been done. It's amazing. It seems like they grab these topics when it's popular to grab, but then they let them just kind of die and slide under the rug or whatever, because these affect them directly. And by them, I mean the elected officials, both sides. So, pretty interesting stuff, man. I wanted to share real quick with you. I shared this story on the recorded episode of the Double S that's going to be going on Sunday. I know a local business here in the Colorado area. We've done some work with him with the True Patriot Outfitters. Great guy, great organization. Been around a while and pretty established. Stays busy. Not a big social media presence, but in today's landscape, if you ask anybody, you gotta have one, right? If you're gonna own a small business. He's getting out of social media 100%. And the interesting thing is, he's in not necessarily graphic design, but print, right? Yeah, Gordon, absolutely, David. 50 years Schumer's been in there. Oh, Chucky. Decades too long. Absolutely. Nothing wrong if, let experience, talk to some of the new ones. But yeah, these people just, it's both sides too. I mean, there's just some people that have been there way, way too long. And I'm not saying they're all bad that they've been there for that long, but it's just not, I don't think it's a healthy move to have people, I don't know, just my opinion. I don't know, it could be wrong. But anyway, so this guy that runs this business is getting out of social media. He put a post out on his business social media page that said, hey, just to give you a heads up, Organization X, I'm just not going to bring it up, Organization X is going to be leaving social media platforms, as I personally have decided to exit social media. When I remove my personal account, it's going to wipe out my business account. That's the way Facebook works. Your personal account's tied to your pages. So he said effectively, in about 30 days or so, his organization will have no social media print whatsoever. Going away completely. Man, on one side of the fence, I sit there and applaud the dude because, man, am I jealous. Social media, however, there's another part of me that says, it's not all bad, right? There's some things that social media has done, like helping, reconnect guys after service, helping, maintain relationships. Well, I don't know, maintain contact with people that are across the country, real time, sharing pictures. I know a lot of grandparents can see their grandkids through photos and such that maybe otherwise don't have the means to travel 1,000 miles to get there or whatever. So there are some good things that come from this. And there's also a lot of negative that comes with it. So I don't blame dude whatsoever. I mean, it makes total sense to me why he's doing what he's doing. And like I said, there's a part of me that's actually kind of jealous that he's doing that, for sure. But, nevertheless, I wish him the best of luck. I hope his business, I hope he proves, and I think he's going to, because I don't think he really pulls a lot of, business from social media. I think most of his is it's a local market for him. He's helping people locally here. While he can do some other things remotely and ship them, he doesn't really do a ton of that. Most of his work is right here in the metro area, which we are packed to the brim with enough people here. So I think he does a fantastic job with great prices. So he gets great word of mouth referrals around. So I think he's in a unique situation that he's going to be just fine. I don't think social media will impact him that heavy. And I hope it helps him, with himself to stay clear. I'm learning not to click that home button and stay off the feeds for a while. My wife's been showing me that. You can get on and check your own personal, see if you got messages from people or whatever. And I still post to the True Patriot Outfitters. We throw that stuff up there, but no one's saying you got to click the feed button, right? It does if it's on your phone. It automatically brings it up. But on the PC, not so much. You can avoid that stuff. And so, yeah, it just takes some discipline to get away from it. I'm still not 100%. I caught myself at lunch, sitting downstairs eating lunch at the table, doom scrolling through Instagram, on my phone. I'm like, what am I doing? So a different deal. But again, like anything else out there, I think it requires discipline, right, to avoid the negativity piece of stuff. All right, let me get a little bit of coffee here, and we're going to go ahead and get into the new shows coming up here on the Heroes Media Group, all the new the podcast and the platforms and the different stuff that's firing up here. So give me one sec. We've got that pulled up here. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in. I am your T-Moon Adam Bird, aka my name is Gene from the Double S, sitting in for Adam this week. Let's see here. What do we have? All right. We got them up here. All right, so let's take a look at the shows that we have here. We'll start it off with the low-hanging fruit for me. The Double S podcast on Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern here on the Heroes Media Group and on the True Patriot Outfitters channel. You'll catch our show, The Double S. No filters, real talk. There is viewer and listener discretion advised as mature language does get used. Some of the conversations definitely get people heated up, but in a good way. They just get people excited, I should say. We don't have animosity, no anxiety, none of that crap going off on our show. We will use some terms that if you are soft-skinned, if you're easily offended by words and things of that nature, that maybe the Double S isn't for you. Maybe it is. I don't know. Because we try to peel back and just do real talk, man, and just throw up there. And not for nothing, on the Double S podcast, we have zero love for the extremist. Okay, so extreme left, extreme right, yeah, you'll get called names. Tired of you. Yeah, you've hurt our country, you've hurt our process, And so on the double S, we break that back and we allow people to kind of just speak their truth, speak their mind on that. But we talk a ton about that's a 5% of our show content. The other 95%, what we talk about is veterans, making moves out there. Veterans and first responders. We talk about positive health choices when it comes to outdoor. Obviously, we're talking fishing too, man. Getting outdoors and engaging the outdoors. We don't provide therapy at the TPO. But the things that we do are absolutely therapeutic, and so it's an important piece, and so we highlight that. We like to find the positive way through this stuff to help us navigate, keep going, and how we continue to serve those that serve or have served. All right, so that's the whole piece. Catch that on Sunday nights here at the Heroes Media Group, 9 p.m. Eastern. All right, next up, let's talk all things VA with Coach Marcia. This is the podcast built for veterans who are tired of the runaround, the denials, and the silence. Powered by the Heroes Media Group, this show cuts through the red tape and brings you real answers about discharge upgrades, disability claims, mental health, and life after service. So I'm going to put a link to this bad boy in here. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. This is All Things VA with Coach Marcia. It's a brand new show coming to the where did that one go? Never mind. Coming to the HMG here, and this is a new show that is now live out there. You want to catch this one. Coach Marcia is awesome, great content, great information up there. All right, so what do we have here next up? Why is that not? That's curious, huh? Let's see here. We're gonna go to that. There we go. We'll do this on Facebook only is where we'll post to. All right, next up here in the shows, She Birthed the Vibe. Every bond comes with stories, surprises, and a whole lot of laughs. And this episode is proof in this week's episode. In our Fun Facts episode, we go back and forth, sharing quirky little truths, random fun facts, and the things we love and sometimes can't stand about each other. From the silly habits that make us giggle to the truths that only a mother and daughter could know, this episode is all about joy, honesty, and the vibe we create together. It's raw, it's real, and it's full of heart. Check out She Birthed the Vibe right there, and it's there it goes. Boom! It commented up. That comment went up. You can check it right there at that link. All right, let's see the next show up here, the Vet SOS podcast. On this week's Vet SOS, we drop 4 powerful new episodes across the network, each packed with lessons, resources, and inspiration for veteran service members and families. On the 30th, they had Military Transition Resource Show with JMAC. Transition is about adapting without losing who you are. October 1st, Veteran Entrepreneurial Spotlight with Jenna Griffith. Entrepreneurship isn't about having all the answers. It's about taking action in the face of uncertainty. October 2, Veteran Education Resource Spotlight with the University of Missouri, St. Louis. Education is not just a degree, it's a pathway to transformation. And coming up tomorrow, you will have The Scoop with James I. Bond. Behavioral, James Bond. Legit James Bond. Wow, awesome. Behavioral triggers run the world. When you understand them, you unlock influence and success. Check that out on the Vet SOS across all their platforms. They have multiple episodes that they drop across those. So check those guys out there. I've had the opportunity to interview Mr. Sean Welsh from the Vet SOS. Super, super cool human being. Love the dude to death. Had a chance to get interviewed by him as well and sit and chat with on their show. It was a really good time. It's a great show, so check them out here. Next up, the Disgruntled PM. You'll sleep when you're dead. An FBI sleep expert's warning. In this episode, Dr. Lee Kaler, a sleep expert and psychologist, discusses the critical importance of sleep, debunks the common myths, and explains the various stages of sleep, particularly REM sleep. She emphasizes the impact of stress on sleep quality and provides practical tips for establishing healthy, sleepy habits. Man, do I need this one. If you're like me, you don't sleep much. I get like an hour and a half at a time, and then I'm up, hour and a half, and I'm up. Conversation also touches on the role of technology in sleep and the importance of maintaining a consistent sleep schedule. In this conversation, Dr. Kaler discusses the effects of blue light on sleep. That's a real one. I've seen that. I've felt it. Blue light, it comes from your phone. The role of melatonin, yep, and the importance of understanding, circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms, okay. She emphasizes the need for a conductive sleep environment and misconceptions surrounding sleep aids. I'm tuning into this one. This one's going to be a good one. I'm telling you, I tell people this all the time. Fact of the matter is, on the HMG, you will find something for everyone on one of these shows that's out there. We're surrounded by some amazing, great information here on these podcasts. And if you just go looking, as where I'm posting these links for you, go check it out. You'll find some awesome stuff goes on the weekly basis. All right, next show up here, Cadets on the Gridiron. I believe, if memory serves, that's hosted by the man himself, Mr. Adam Bird. In this episode of Cadets on the Gridiron, host Adam Bird, see if I were just read, sits down with Britton Anderson, senior kicker on the West Point football team. Anderson shares his journey to West Point, discussing the brotherhood and educational opportunities that drew him to the academy. He offers a glimpse into the demanding life of a cadet athlete, balancing rigorous academics, military training, and football commitments. The conversation covers Anderson's recovery from an ACL injury, his transition from high school to college football, and his future plans in the military. Anderson also reflects on his favorite moments on the field and provides valuable advice for aspiring West Point athletes, emphasizing the importance of keeping an open mind to the unique opportunities that the Academy offers. This episode provides an insightful look into the challenges and rewards of pursuing both athletic and military excellence at one of America's most prestigious institutions. That's on this week's Cadets on the Gridiron. All right, next up in the show is the Strategic Veteran. For this week, what happens when the mission you've given your whole life to suddenly ends? When the uniform comes off and all that intensity is nowhere to go? Brett Baker knows that moment well. And after 13 years and 9 combat deployments as an Army Ranger, his body gave out before his will ever did. What followed was a storm of loss, faith, rebuilding, and the fight to create a new mission outside the wire. Today, he's the co-founder of the VA USA, a faith-driven company building jobs and community for military spouses, and his story is proof that purpose doesn't die with transition. It just changes shape. What a great ending line there. Purpose does not die during transition. It just changes shape. I've often said, and I posted a little article, that passion and purpose, man, no one said you get one, right? This is going to be a great episode. You can have as many as you want, and you just got to keep looking and driving for it. That is going to be a great episode. Let's throw that up there. All right, let's see, what do we have next here? Yes, here we go. This is a good one. I check these guys out constantly here, and I've been on actually one of their shows here on the Home Front Sit Rep podcast, Faith, Recovery, and Poetry, a veteran's guide to healing out loud. Marie Slider Henriksen is a combat medic, Army veteran who has experienced multiple traumas, addictions, and disabilities. She recently published a poetry book called More Me Than I Used to Be, A Journey to Freedom. She writes about healing with faith, overcoming pain and resentments. Marie heals out loud through recovery advocacy, speaking, and podcasting. She's a co-host on the podcast Every Day is a Saturday, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, Coffee Talk with Brian and Marie, encouraging veterans to heal out loud from PTSD to advocacy. She is currently developing a site open to all for creatively healing out loud through community. That's going to be a great show. So check out the Home Front Sit Rep. Let's post that bad boy up there. Bada bang, bada boom. There we go. You'll catch that in. All right. Next up here on the, I believe it's Shay Sparks Show. I don't have a description for what the Shay Sparks Show has this week here, so I can't tell you what this is. Leadership, relationships, and love. Investing in. That's possibly what this week's in. Shay, I apologize. I don't have this week's, but we're going to go ahead and post that up there. All right, next up, what do we have here? I don't have an episode on this, but Patriots Inside the Wire, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursday nights from 4 to 6 Central. Tune in, and you'll be able to see what they have. I don't have information on what this week's show is, but do check out that for this week. We also have, here we go, The Arms Room every Monday at 2 p.m. Arizona. So Arizona Mountain Standard Time, which is different. They'll be discussing how teamwork makes the dream work when you're out and about with someone who has similar training and tools. So tune in this next Monday here at 2 p.m. This is another awesome one. I love these guys over here at the Misfit Nation podcast. In this groundbreaking episode of the Misfit Nation, host Rich LaMonica sits down with United States Marine Corps vet Paul Helinski, founder and CEO of Vet Mentor AI, a mission-driven platform that's using artificial intelligence to help veterans claim the benefits that they've earned. They're going to dive into why veterans struggle with the VA system, how AI can create fairness and access, the emotional intelligence needed to lead in the AI world. And just when I was out here, warning about Skynet earlier, lo and behold, another positive thing about how you can use AI comes up here. I love it. Never get in the frame of mind where your brain stays closed, right? When you're convinced that you know the answer in the room, no matter what, and nothing you hear could change your mind, it's called closed-minded. I love getting shown these things, the other side of the stuff. What do we have next up here? Okay, Label Free Podcast. In this week's episode of Label Free, host Deanna, I'm not even going to try to ruin your last name. I'm just going to R. Yeah, not going to do it. Deanna R. welcomes Janet, a certified Somatica sex and intimacy coach. Sex and intimacy coach, sexological body worker, holistic pelvic care practitioner, tantra educator, and somatic experiencing trauma practitioner. Janet shares their journey from living with a sexless marriage for over 26 years to becoming passionate about helping others reconnect in their relationships. Awesome. Dude, there is just something for everybody on the HMG. I'm just far too immature to tune into shows like that. But I probably will, because that looks extremely informative. All right, next up, we got your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project. Talk about two humans over there that I absolutely love. Andrea and Mark, love these guys to death. Their show is great. It's also, this show's on every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. So that's 2 hours before we go online on Sundays. You can catch the People's Patriot Project. Sunday evenings covered, man, between 6 at 6. They got you covered there, and then you got our show right after for the comic relief to jump in there. Sunday nights are booming here. This week, the guest on the We Got Your 6 at 6 will be two amazing gentlemen, Dr. Steve Lansing and retired Colonel B. Wayne Quist. These two have served and are paying it forward with their talents, one of them being authors. They have a series of books out, Veterans in Crisis, and they have formed a nonprofit, which is Veterans Empowered Incorporated. They're raising $500,000 to provide free PTSD treatment in their Rochester office and publish PTSD materials for suicide prevention and treatment for veterans in crisis. At their office in Rochester, disabled veterans and first responders receive free therapy as well as copies of the book. Books are also available for sale at the general public in Amazon. And so this is a Minnesota-based podcast at the 6 at 6. And if I'm right, that's Rochester, Minnesota, which I lived there and worked for their school district for 10 years. Very, very cool. Never heard of them when I was out there, but we weren't doing this kind of work. We had our head down and we were doing government IT. So yeah, check out this week's episode on the People's Patriot Project. Patriot Pride, y'all. All right. Next up on the Decision Hour, in this episode, we're joined by the multifaceted Sean Murphy, Army veteran, educator, motivational speaker, musician, and best-selling author. Known as Mr. Motivation, Sean takes us on an inspiration journey through his life's pivotal moments and the decisions that shaped his remarkable career. Listen in as Sean shares his transition from military service to civilian life, including his unexpected leap into education with Teach for America. He offers invaluable insights on overcoming challenges, the power of preparedness, and how he uses his diverse background to connect with students and audiences alike. Stick around as we explore Sean's approach to fatherhood, his musical endeavors, and the recent publication of his award-winning book, Unbreakable Valor. From creating spoken word over beats to developing rap skills, Sean demonstrates how passion and perseverance can lead to success in multiple fields. That's on this week's episode of The Decision Hour. Here we go. Bada bing. All right, next up, the other side of the firewall. In this episode of the podcast, Ryan Williams Sr. and Shannon Tynes discuss the latest cybersecurity news, including CISA's emergency directive regarding Cisco vulnerabilities, the rise of SIM farms threatening U.S. infrastructure, and the alarming trend of cyber criminals targeting children's data for ransom. They emphasize the importance of cybersecurity awareness and the evolving landscape of cyber threats, while also sharing personal updates and reflection of their own experiences in this field. So those of you who like to nerd out, if you're interested in some stuff here, it's going to be a lot of acronyms, I promise you that. But that is, Adam's told me about this offline. The Other Side of the Firewall is a fantastic podcast. Tune in, check those guys out this week. It's going to be an awesome one. Let's see here, who's up next? Last one on the list here for this week. Rise Up, Voices from the Front Lines. What is trauma-informed leadership? And why does it matter to everyone, from government officials and organizational leaders to CEOs, school administrators, parents, partners, and even the way we lead ourselves? How can this framework transform not just how we lead, but how we live? In this pre-series episode, the host lays out the foundation, why leadership today cannot afford to ignore trauma, how neuroscience, psychology, and lived experience prove that unresolved wounds shape systems, and leaders have the power to either replicate harm or model healing. Modern examples of what happens when leaders embody steadiness, compassion, and accountability, and the devastation when they don't. Why every one of us is a leader somewhere, at home, at work, in our communities, and how trauma-informed principles can change the outcomes for those who depend on us the most. Check that out. That's going to be fantastic. On Rise Up, Voices from the Front Lines. Let's see here. What do we have? We're going to put that bad boy right there. Wada bang. That's on this week's episode, so check them out there. All right, that's going to do it for the weekly shows. I'll line up here. Hey, thanks for hanging in there with me through the stuff here. Again, sorry, no bow tie this week. It's not bow tie season yet. When Adam goes back to bow ties, then your Timu Adam Bird, which is Gene, will jump in with my bow tie again. Let's go ahead and mention a few of our sponsors here. And I apologize, I'm not going to, I don't know some of these sponsors as well as Adam does, but I am going to make mention to them so that we make sure we have them all listed here. First and foremost, From the Farm. This is a great website. Just Google From the Farm. You'll see this is Food Direct. And if memory serves, I believe these are veteran-owned farms that are basically a part of this piece here. And it's just improved food quality 100%. It's out of the main big grinders that's out there. You're going to get far more fresh, more healthy options from the farm there. So just give that a Google. Let's see, HMG Beverage, as I brought those guys up on my own podcast there. That is the sister company to the HMG Heroes Media Group. Beverage, if you're digging coffee, man, I'll tell you what, Adam brews up an awesome batch of coffee. Kickstart's my personal favorite. That's the one I dig on, but go check out HMG Beverage. Also, I believe a big supporter of the HMG is My Tax Fella. I don't have personal experience with this individual, but Adam does, and he speaks very highly of My Tax Fella. It's one word, TAXFELLA. Check them out, My Tax Fella. Just give them a Google. Forget Genetics. I have no idea what the heck that is, but we are very thankful for, a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? There is this thing out there called Google. So I'm just going to throw it in there. What do we have? Forget Genetics LLC. Forget Genetics, a veteran-owned small business of dedicated hunters, combines years of scientific research with rigorous field testing to bring you a full line of premium attractants, feed, and trace minerals. There it is. Now we know what it is. Perfect, perfect. Also from the local area there where Adam's at, Jim Neary's Live Bait and Tackle. I know they have been a supporter of the HMG for a long, long time. That's awesome stuff. You guys helped get my man Adam outdoors and fishing, which is fantastic. That is exactly what he needs, is more time hunting and fishing. Let's see what's next on the list. We have Finn Tactical. Trusted business solutions partner for the firearms, ammunition, and outdoor industry. That is, yep. Let's see, the Freedom People. Is that the same? Let's see, or is that a different one? I'm Googling this stuff as we go, folks. You're watching me do it. Nope. Follow your values and start determining your future today. Journey to the ultimate freedom is just 5 weeks away. Pillars of freedom, transformation, journey, and transcending. So the Freedom People, they are, oh, thank you. Yeah, there we go. Services we provide: expert trust, private membership associations, birth certificate, double authentication courses. All right, outstanding. So the Freedom People is a sponsor of the HMG, and of course, VA Claim Builder. All right, that's going to do it, folks. We're going to wrap this thing up. I'm going to send you on your way. We got it done in just under an hour here. Thank you so much for tuning in on the Heroes Media Group. Go check out all the amazing shows. Look on the Facebook page and you will see all of these shows that I linked here in the comments. This is just a smattering of some of the new shows that are coming out on a weekly basis. There is something for everyone out there. We're proud on the Double S podcast and the True Patriot Outfitters to be a part of this family. It's an honor to host alongside. We usually try to reach out to a lot of these other podcast hosts and get them on our show as well. Talk and learn more about that stuff. Information is always good, man. Keep an open mind out there. It's always a good thing to help you kind of just keep expanding and keep that brain nice and clean, right? All right, we're going to do it. We're going to wrap it up here. Be sure to check out all the great shows there. Hope you get a chance. Join us on Sunday. Like I said, People's Patriot Project goes off at 6 Central. And then a couple hours after that, you'll have us in the Double S podcast. We go off in the Heroes Media Group here as well. So tune in 9 p.m. Eastern. You'll catch our show there. And yeah, this week we're going to wrap things up. Our field ops season has come to a close, so we're going to share some photos and pictures of the entire this great last weekend here. Look towards the future a little bit. We're thanking our sponsors, the great organizations that get behind us, that help us do what we do. And so make sure to tune in with that. And in the meantime, I'm headed down to Pueblo Reservoir in a couple hours. We're going to go try to win a state championship. So, Adam, thank you, buddy, for letting us sit in for you. Hope you have good luck out there. Folks, I'm going to leave you with the same thing I leave everybody on the Double S podcast. Tight lines, which means good luck. Be safe, which means be careful. And last but not least, the one we've added onto here, take care of each other out there. We'll see you guys next week.